KDHL, the Mighty 920, 938 AM Minnesota. John Ederson along with John Dvorak of the Rice County Fair. And we were talking a little bit, of course, the Rice County Fair coming up July 18th through the 23rd. It seems like a long ways away on the calendar, but when you've got to be planning all the behind-the-scenes stuff, it's really not that much time. It'll be here before you know it.
Well, like I tell my fair board members, I'll tell them tonight, 6 meetings before the fair.
Yeah, when you think of it in terms of 6 meetings, that's not a lot of time.
It's not a lot of meetings.
So
you'll be here, and it's that part, it's that time of the year,
Well, and you got a lot of things like, you got a lot of contracts and stuff you got to take care of ahead of time, and you can't just wait till, a month before the fair to do it.
That's exactly right, and a lot of those contracts right now are, we're in negotiations, and that's why I kind of hate to talk about things that I don't have all the dotted lines signed, but as soon as that does happen, we'll come out and
sure.
What our same, what our lineup is going to be. What I can say is, naturally we'll have our enduro races on the grandstand again. That's something that we'll have our tractor pool and our demolition.
Hopefully the weather will cooperate
and hopefully this year the weather will cooperate. It's like I said before. I mean, you plan it and you hope for the best, and sometimes things don't turn out just the way you plan it. And last year, I'll be honest with you, last year was a tough fair for us. It was hot, and it was hot and humid, and
then the rain wiped out Saturday.
The
pretty
rain
much
wiped out quite a bit of Saturday, and but had a great group of people working with, and they just kept going like nothing happened, and it ended up and we survived, and we're going to put on another fair this year, and we're going to keep going. And like I said before, things don't always turn out the way you want them to turn out, and sometimes there's always a curveball that gets thrown into you, and it's how you deal with it and the way you deal with it and what can you learn from it. We could all go and dig our heads in the sand and complain, the weather was terrible, but you move on, and that's what the fair board is doing, and we move on.
One thing I thought was a great thing that's happened since I've been working down here is that you've got in Gold Star Amusements. I think they do a fabulous job, and they're professional, they're courteous, it's a very good run carnival. I think.
You're right, John. You can't find a better carnival than what we have. With Mike Featherston at the Gold Star Amusement. It's a family event. It's their family. It's their whole family that works there. And they've been at the fair now for, I think they're going on like 12 or 13 years that they've been coming to the Rice County Fair. And they're a great group of people to work with. Mike, he puts a lot of insight into how things can happen at the fair. What better way to learn from a guy that goes to a fair every week? And they don't just work in Minnesota during the summer. So right now they're down. Their year starts in Louisiana, and they keep moving from Louisiana east and north until they get to Minnesota. So they're running fairs and carnivals right now. Church festivals are real popular down south, and they do a lot of church festivals. They do a lot of city-town events, and so they're busy. They don't just put things away. I mean, they keep going.
And their stuff is always in good shape, and they don't, I've always liked too that you give them an extra day to get their stuff set up, so they're not rushing in here on Monday to get the midway set up to be open up on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And you give them an extra day so they don't have to rush, so that everything's safe, everything's good to go.
That's right, and they're inspected. In fact, the electrical inspector last year found a slight problem, and you know what, we didn't start right away on time when we said we were going to start on time, but they rectified the problem as quick as they could, and which to me that puts a feather in their hat, because they didn't want to sidestep it. They says, okay, what do we got to do to fix it? And it ended up being something that was probably not safety related issue, but
right.
The electrical inspector found a problem with it, and they said fix it. They fixed it, and they went on. And so it was unfortunate that something was found, but at the same time, I was glad that they could to get it rectified, and they didn't try to sidestep it and run anyhow.
The other thing I thought that you did was a great idea was when you moved the kiddie rides and moved the farm machinery, you switched places with those basically. I mean, I thought that was a great idea.
I think so too, and it worked out you know, it worked out better than what I anticipated. You know, it was a move. You know, you try making a move like that, and you know, you second guess yourself, and you keep second guessing. But I think in the long run, I think it's turned out. I've had a lot of nothing but positive comments about it, and I think it's turned out real well. It just kind of gives the kids their own area to have. That's their area for the you know, enjoyment of the fair, and
Right.
It's really heavily used. I know last year, you know, 10:30, 11 o'clock, those kids rides were still running last year. So, and that's good to see, and it's good to see there's families out there. It's just not, you know, big brother taking little brother or little sister to ride on a ride. You know, mom and dad are there with the kids, and they're enjoying the fair, and that's what it's all about. You know, there's nothing more that it pleases me more than, you know, you can see that smile on that kid's face when he either bites into that cotton candy, or he gets off that carnival ride, or he wins a ribbon at the fair, because, you know, that's what the fair is for. It's for the kids. And it's just so much enjoyment for me, and such a gratifying reward to just see that smile, because, you know, they'll take a fair and turn a bad fair into something good.
Right.
Is when you see that smile
Yep.
on that face.
Is there any of the the bigger entertainment acts that are solidified enough that you can say anything about them yet, or is that still being worked on?
Well, on Thursday night, you know, for sure, I know we have a contract with the White Sidewalls. They'll be here
They're
again
always good.
on Thursday night, and that's always a big attraction. And so they'll be here on Thursday night. On Friday night, I have Brad Boyce coming back. Brad is the Elvis impersonator that's been at our fair before. So he's going to be coming in on Friday this year, putting on his show. So I'm looking forward to that. That's always a good draw. And we're going to do new this year on Saturday night. We're going to have a Hispanic band playing on the Selner stage. It'll be
wow.
a free stage for the and a Hispanic band will be playing. So looking forward to that. On Wednesday night, I have the Jolly Peas playing. They're out of New Prague. It's Steve Skozacek and his band. They're an old-time band, and they played back in the mid 70s and early
Okay.
80s, and so they revived their group, and so they'll be here on Wednesday night performing on the Selner Free Stage. So I have my kids' pedal pull competition coming back on Wednesday night. That's a contract that we have signed, and you know, I'm hoping that we'll bring back most of the entertaining that we had. I know we have Devin Worley scheduled for the Beer Garden on Friday night. On Saturday night we have Mr. Peabody scheduled, and so that stuff that's shaping up. So it's just a few things that I have left to do on. I'm trying to bring in a rodeo this year on Friday night at the grandstand instead of bull riding, and I'm waiting for everything to get approved there. And if that gets approved, you know, I'm hoping to put on a pretty good rodeo this year.
And I know you're always looking for new food vendors. If you've got something, especially if somebody's got something unique that maybe you haven't had before, and they can try to get a hold of you to maybe get in on.
That's right, and I do have one gal called me, and she's actually from Venezuela,
Wow.
and she started up a trailer, and she sent me a menu, what she's going to have, and a picture of her trailer, and a picture of all the food she brings. And I'm looking forward to that, because that's going to be something different and unique that's going to be at the fair. And yeah, if anybody has something new that I don't already have at the fair, you know, give me a call. I would surely take a look at it. And you know, people say, well, why don't you let so and so come in? They're from town, or so and so come in, and it's one of the things that when I took over this job, I wanted to make sure that I had enough vendors in here that would satisfy the people, but yet I didn't want to have too many vendors at the Rice County Fair, because if you have too many vendors, food vendors, then, you know, it gets to be a big competition for where the money is being spent. And so I cut down the number of vendors that I have, and so I try not to double up on a new vendor coming in. So if a vendor calls me up and says, well, I make great hamburgers, well, that's great. I've already got hamburgers that are at the fair. And I owe it to them people that have been loyal to me. You know, if they've been loyal and they've been coming year after year to the fair, and they put up with all the good weather and all the bad weather, you know, I don't really feel right that I'm going to bring in competition for
Right.
them. But that's why I want, you know, to bring in new food, something that we don't already have here at the fair.
Well, and you can only have so much cheese curds and corn dogs, and if you get too much out there, then nobody makes any money.
You're right.
You know, nobody makes a lot of money. You just make little amounts of money. But when you kind of keep it specialized like that, then it helps everybody, I think.
That's right, and that's what I try to do, and that's what my aim is. And you know, I hope people are understanding of it, but at the same time, you know, put yourself in that vendor shoes.
That's
you know,
true.
And
it's a catch-22.
that's right, and you know, you're always going to be criticized, and but that's kind of what my policy is, and right now that's kind of the way I'm going to hold it and stick to it. And you know, I have a great relationship with all of the vendors that are here, and you know, they respect me and they respect the fair, and you know, they work hard to have a good presentation of their food, and that means a lot too. And so you know, that's why we're, you know, decided to go that route. Commercial vendors, I'm still taking applications in for commercial spaces in the commercial buildings. I'm hoping that we can get those buildings filled up again. And you know, if you have something that you're passionate about and you want to bring it to the fair and advertise it, by all means, please come. You know, if you have a product that you want to sell. I thank all my existing vendors that keep coming back year after year. And you know, without them, you know, there's something about having the buildings full, and that's my big main goal. Is I like to see all the buildings full, and you know, that really helps, because you know, people, when they come to a fair, they don't want to see a half-full building. They want
Right.
to see a thriving fair, and that helps in itself draw people to the fair. The same with our animals in our barns. You know, I like keeping those barns full. You know, it's not always possible with the decline of agriculture here in Rice County, but you know, we bring in plenty of shows, and you know, we have different species coming in with different shows, and that's really helping. You know, and I have to give a lot of credit to my livestock committee and all the people that you know, advertise and bring in these shows and run these shows. I mean, my hat's off to them, because without them, I couldn't do it alone. And the help that I get from these people, and I'm not even going to start naming names, because if I did that, I'm going to forget somebody, because there's just so many people that are
Yeah.
involved with that.
I was going to mention too, a lot of times you've got things going on at the fairgrounds even before the fair. Is there any big events coming up at the fairgrounds before the fair this year?
There is, you know, I've had several meetings with an institution that's thinking about, they'd like to bring in a music festival. That's something that's in the works. Of course, I have some conversations, and I don't have contracts signed yet, but I have a
Okay.
few Mexican rodeos that are talking about coming in again this
Okay.
summer. I just had a call yesterday from my gal. They call it a rally cross. What they do is they have car races, and they race against the car. It's one car at a time, and they race against the clock. They're talking about coming in one Sunday a month for several months. So yeah, there is some stuff. You know, and if anybody's interested, or they want an event at the fairgrounds, you know, just give me a call at the fairgrounds, or call me on my cell, and I'll gladly help you out. You know, we do have some buildings that graduation parties are coming up. A lot of people are calling, inquiring about having graduation parties at
Sure.
one of the buildings at the fair. We're starting to book for that. Booked several weddings that are coming to the fair to have their reception at the fairgrounds. So, you know, we're there throughout the year. If that fairgrounds, once the storage comes out of the buildings, we have storage in all of the buildings now. That comes out the last weekend in April. And so pretty much coming into May and beyond, you know, we'll have those rooms available to rent out.
It's just hard to believe how once we start talking about it, it just seems like, oh, next thing you know, we're out there setting up. It just boom, it just comes so fast, and it's always so much fun. And last year we didn't get the total cooperation of the weather like we had wanted, but it was still a fun event to do, and it's something I know we always look forward to doing every year. And it's nice to get out and talk to people, and you can hear from people that you know, what they think about the fair, what they think about the radio station when we're out there. And it's always fun to be out there and just meet with people.
That's right, and you know, it's great when, you know, people, if they have a comment, you know, they can, you know, send a comment in on our website, you know, on Facebook, or you know, give me a call. I'm always open to people's opinions. You know, whether they're good or bad. You know, we need to hear from people, and that's the only way we can make the fair improve, is with people voicing their opinions, and we do listen to people, and not everybody's opinion can be heard, but at least it can be taken into account and we can learn from it.
I would imagine there's some of the I know the premium books don't come out for a while yet, but I would imagine there might be some forms available soon online at the website.
There are forms online already at the website. The application to get into the premium book should be online now, and so the more when these we just had our livestock committee meeting here last week, so I know all those forms will be updated for all the livestock entry forms. They'll be on the website. We have our meeting tonight, and I'd like to hope that after tonight a lot of our contests that will be going on at the fair this year will get finalized, and those forms will also be on the website.
I would imagine if there's some young ladies out there thinking about running for fair queen, they should start thinking about that too.
That's right. Put the seed in for that, because Kathy's always looking for gals to run at that queen contest, and that's a big part of the fair. And Kathy puts a lot of work and a lot of energy into that, and it's always nice to see a bunch of gals in there trying to compete for that. And one of the things we can't forget about also, we have a great 4-H program here in Rice County, and Kelly Chadwick down there at the 4-H office, she does a wonderful job with these kids, and they've always got a great display in all of their projects that get put on, and I hope that all these 4-Hers, they're in the back of their mind thinking what they're going to bring to the fair this year, because let's try to get that 4-H building as full as we can with all the projects that we can. I mean, people that come to the fair, they love seeing projects, and what better place to come to the 4-H building to look at all these projects. Our open class, Shire Wetzel does a great job with the open class, and without that building, there would be no place for people to bring in with their crafts that they work on during the year, and it's a place where they can get some notoriety on some of the projects that they make, and there's a lot of projects that come into that building, and I would like to encourage everybody, this fairground's for you. Take advantage of it. If there's a craft that you like to make and you want to enter it at the fair, boy, what a great place to exhibit your work.
That's one thing I've noticed too, because it's a small town and everybody knows everybody when they're out at the fair, and you've got a lot of the same people back every year, and because the Rice County Sheriff's Department and the other law enforcement help that you get do such a great job, it's always it's a very safe event. I mean, everything is, there's not too much trouble with anything out there.
That's right, and knock on wood. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
We've never had no problems, and but you're right. Sheriff Dunn does a great job with staffing that. They bring the command center out there, so not only is the command center out there for our use, but it's able to show the people of Rice County, what does the sheriff department do, and how can they assist if there was a major catastrophe that was going to happen. I mean, this great command center that they got, within minutes, I know they can have that thing set up, and what a great way to showcase that than at the Rice County Fair. And I think it's important, and we get help from the Faribault Police Department, we get help from the Faribault Fire Department, the Morristown Fire Department comes down there, and what a great way to participate at the county fair.
I remember on that Saturday last year, I was out sitting in our booth when the rains were flooding the fair, and Troy was going around on a golf cart checking to make sure everybody was safe, make sure nobody was in trouble, and I just thought that was great that they do that to make sure everybody stays safe out there.
And it is, and and Troy and I, we stay in close contact, and I stay in close contact with the command center. If with all their computers that they have going on in there, if they see something coming in on the weather, they can almost pinpoint it to the minute when it's going to start, and I'll get a phone on a call, or I'll get a call on the radio saying, John, we got some bad weather coming in, I think this is what we need to do. So that gives us ample time to warn the people that something could be coming in, to beware of what's happening, and rest assured, if we would know that something's coming in, we would make a decision at that time. What do we do? Do we send people home? How, do we look at the situation, how many people do we have, and what building can we put them in, and just how bad does something look what's coming in. And that's something that Troy and I sat down 2 years ago, maybe 3 years now. We put a emergency plan in place, and everybody knows their role and what's going to happen and what the procedure is, and that's something that's been worked out, and we go over that every year, and just to reinforce that, hey, we know what we're going to do, and who's going to be in charge of what, and who's going to make that critical call. And so people can rest assured that we do take a lot of safety features into consideration, and the weather and a catastrophe is something that is well thought out in advance.
John Dvorak's with us with the Rice County Fair. We've got just about a minute left. Folks can check out the website, ricecountyfair.net, correct?
Correct.
And there'll be more information coming on that all the time as we get closer and closer and closer. And thanks for being out here this morning. Appreciate it.
Appreciate being here, John.
I know you got a cold, and it wasn't real super fun to talk for a half an hour, but
that's right. You can't control the weather, and you can't control your health sometimes.
But yeah, we're looking forward to it. It'll be here again before we know it. So
that's right, and it's always fun. And I have a good time coming out here and visiting with you guys here at KDHL, and I look forward to doing that again this year.
All right, sounds good, John. Appreciate it. That's John Dvorak from the Rice County Fair with us this morning on AM Minnesota, and we've got